So, you ponied up for the Defiant magnetic sweeper. You wanted that rare earth, only but the best for you. So we're gonna run you through what's in the box. So, as with everything we send out of Blue Streak, this thing is packaged impeccably. We got this thing in 51 weight cardboard, so when the FedEx guy throws it off the truck, it probably won't break. And it is taped to hell, so I'm gonna have to get after it with my little Mastercraft knife here. And it's taped, and I think I got it backwards. Yes, I did. There we go. Okay. So, again, we're cutting everything here. This thing is taped for your protection. So that when you get it in the mail, it's not broken in half and pile of stuff on your driveway. Jeez. Yeah, it's really taped. Okay, so now we got it open. Let's run through what's in the box. So you got your assembly instructions and operating instructions. Both of these, are you gonna look at them? Probably not, so we'll set those aside. Now the operating instructions are kind of important because it tells you how to mount this thing, and if you don't mount it properly, you might run it over with your forklift. It will survive, but you might need to order some parts from us. So, styrofoam, lots of packaging. We set all our stuff in good packaging because we do not want it to break before it shows up to you. So as I was saying before, you need to make sure this thing's mounted properly. We'll get into that in a little bit. So here's the sweeper itself. This is the rare earth model, so it's slightly lighter. I think it's 35 pounds instead of 40 pounds. Doesn't make much of a difference. But the big thing you give that is a huge boost in Gauss. And you're probably saying, what is Gauss, Marshall? Well, Gauss is the measure of magnetic power against a ferrous object. Now, why does that matter? The Vigilant might pick up the same amount of metal you want. It has a similar pickup height. It won't hold as much metal as the thing. So this magnet has higher Gauss potential, which means that it can hold on to more metal while you're sweeping, so you don't have to clean it off as much. So every piece of metal you pick up with a normal magnet, any magnet, every piece of metal that's on there reduces the power of the magnet to pick up more. So if you start with a higher Gauss rating, you get more pickup power as you sweep. That's how it works, quite simple. So the Defiant has the rare earth magnet, so you have more pickup potential. And it will work better with less ferrous content debris. So if you're picking up like really nice fasteners that are low ferrous content, like almost stainless steel but not quite stainless steel, this is going to be your guy. The Vigilant's fine for nails and wires and normal stuff like that, but if you got some real problems with low ferrous content screws or fasteners or whatever, this is what you want. And also, like I said earlier, it's going to hold on to more before it starts losing pickup power. So just like the Defiant or the Vigilant, it's got 3 holes on each corner. Now the point of that is to be able to move the quad pods in or out to fit your forklift. And you're saying, oh Marshall, what's the quad pods? Well, let me show you what the quad pods are. They're in this box. Some assembly required, not much, but just a little bit. So you pop this bad boy open, try not to cut yourself. And look at that, more packaging. It's like Christmas, isn't it? So this is just a handle that goes on this end, and the whole point of that is so if you're pulling the sleeve off, because this is the rare earth magnet, so it's going to hold a lot harder than the ceramic. So if you have a bunch of debris picked up on this thing, the pressure from the debris pressing the sleeve against the magnet is going to make the sleeve hard to pull off. So that's why this little handle's here. You can bolt it onto this side and have someone else hold on the one side of the magnet while you pull the sleeve off, so it's easier to clean it off without ripping the whole thing off and make the forklift. That's that. Not that complicated. So now we'll get into the quad pod. Why do we call it a quad pod? Well, the ancient Greeks would call quads four. I don't know if that's true. Anyways, it comes from the ancient Greek word quad, which means four, I think. So why is it called four? Because you get four of these little magnet pucks with every pod that holds it on. And another function of four, there is four quad pods, quads. So you have 16 of these little magnet pucks holding this thing onto your forklift. So the way these assemble is, you see this is a glass reinforced nylon piece. All you gotta do, push the pod through here, and then you get some little tiny nuts with it. And there's a plastic piece on the other side to retain the nuts, and you just thread them in by hand. Now, I don't know if I need to show you all four, but I'll do it anyways. So basically, grab your nut, little tiny nut. There's a little slot to put them in here. They stay in, they're retained. Get your little thing with threads on it, screw it in. Now these only need to be finger tight. You don't need to torque them down to 2,000 foot-pounds. It's not gonna help you. But, so once all these four are in, you almost have your quad pod fully assembled. So now you see the quad part of it, there's four pucks. Now you see this in the box, there's like a little snail piece. What the hell is that for? This is a cam cleat. So there's a little post here on the plastic that's molded in, and a little spring tab. So this spring tab, all this does is just apply pressure to this so the cam cleat works properly. There's a little slot on one side of the, I don't know if you can see that because it's pretty far away, but there's a little slot right there. That interfaces with this spring piece, and all you have to do to install it is just line the posts up, push this little spring piece out, and it's in. That's it. So that's all it does. It just does this. So now, what is the pièce de résistance de the quad pod? Piece of paracord. So this is 550 paracord. It takes 550 pounds of strong force to break it. I'm not that strong, so I can't do it. But this, you need to take the, so it comes with a knot on one end. Take the other end, push it straight through the center of your four magnet pucks, like this, and then thread it down so it gets clamped by the cam cleat at the bottom, like that. So if you've ever sailed in your life, you'll know what a cam cleat does. It allows action one way, so you can pull it this way, but not the other way, because then the cam bites down on that paracord, braces it against the plastic, and you can't pull it that way. So you're thinking, oh Marshall, what's the point of that? Well, let me show you what the point of that is. I kind of was out of order, but take your piece of paracord here, and like I said earlier, there is four places to mount this bad boy, or sorry, 3 places on each corner to mount this. So the critical thing when you're getting your Defiant magnetic sweeper and you want to put it on a forklift is this piece here needs to be on a flat piece of steel. The steel needs to be absolutely clean, no mud, no grease, no nothing. It needs to be flat and grease free. And then, so you got your 3 pieces on the corners here. You pick one depending on the width of whatever mounting surface you're putting it on. So if, you know, say your forklift is, say the mounting pods are here and the flat pieces are here, you need to just move them in and out. So that's why I give you 3 spots to put them. So, knot interfaces with this little hole on the sweeper. This is nice aluminum, so it's not going to rip through. Thread it through your quad pod, if you can, and then put that in the cam cleat. It's just a cam cleat, it's not that complicated. So there you go, there's your mounting surface. So if you have a good clean piece of steel, it's got no grease on it, this thing will clamp to it, and each one of these little pods, we tested them on 5/16 pieces of steel, and they can hold 52 pounds each. So there's 4 of them. Do the math real quick, that's 208 pounds of holding force to hold up this 35-ish pound magnet. So if you have a good clean flat mounting surface, it shouldn't be a problem holding this magnet on the bottom of your forklift, unless you hit a boulder or something. But in that case, you got bigger problems. Yeah. So if your forklift, the surface that it's mounting to is slightly uneven, you can loosen these magnet pucks up just a little bit. There's not a lot of threads, so you can't undo them a lot. But if you loosen them just a little bit, they will have some flex to them. Just a little bit of wobbling back and forth from, you know, not being tight to the other side. That might help you to mount if your forklift is not perfectly flat. It's just a little hack that I'm going to tell you. So anyways, now that we've gone through the quad pods, let's unhook this thing again actually, because we also have to do it later. So that's that. You have one of these on each corner, holds the magnet up, and you can see cam cleat does this job. It worked good, as long as you do it properly. And another thing with the quad pods is when you have it hooked up to this sweeper, and so you have it, let's say, hooked up, and you got it really tight up against the bottom of the sweeper, you have all this excess cordage. So you got two options with that. So say you have it set to your forklift, you got it where you want it, and you got all this excess cordage. You can cut it, which is what I would do, because paracord is very easy to find. Or we have some little retaining clips on the sides. You can pass it through those, pass it through the other side, tie a little knot, whatever you gotta do. Just make sure that that cord isn't dangling, because you can get caught on something or get caught in the wheel, and that'll pull your sweeper off too. So that's quad pods. That's how it attaches. That's how it all works. And so let's move on to the sweeper. So this thing is, as I said, the rare earth magnet. It's a lot stronger, higher Gauss rating than the Vigilant. And why would you need that? To hold on more stuff and to pick up worse or better metal, I guess. Low ferrous content. So this is in the other video I showed this knife trying to stick to a magnet on the Vigilant, and it didn't stick all that well because it's a pretty decent steel, and I think the body's aluminum. So we'll see how it sticks to this thing. Yeah, that's the difference. See what I mean? The other one would barely hold up. The Vigilant would barely hold on to that, and this thing is just champing it. And it's holding on the blade like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, so that's your difference. And it's pulling the bits out of the back. This is a little knife that has tool bits in the spine of it for, you know, just general utility, and it's pulling them out of the back. So now that we got this up here, let's look at the spines. So this plastic piece here is just a removable sleeve. This is not the magnet part. This is just a plastic sleeve. It's slightly rubbery, so it's flexible. And all this is for is when you stick something to it. So say you're picking up metal or whatever, this allows you to clean it off easier. So you see how the knife kind of stays in place as you slide the sleeve? That's why there are these ridges all the way across. So when you pull it off, the ridges will catch it, and the physical force is stronger than the magnetic force, and it pulls it off the sweeper. So there's a ridge in the middle too also, because if there wasn't, everything would slide to this end, and then it would probably just flip back around to the magnet once you get to the end. So that ridge in the middle just grabs stuff, and then pulls it to the top, and it falls on your face. Here you go. So to actuate that, there's a handle on one side. I already showed you the little handle for the other side. And there's this little bat wing looking thing. Looks like the Batman logo. So all you gotta do, this is spring loaded so it stays in place. So this is in the locked position. You see the sleeve can't go. And then you unlock it, and the sweeper can move. All you gotta do to clean it off is just flip that little switch, and the sweeper, or the sleeve, will come off the sweeper. And this thing's still pulling the bits out of my little knife here. So that's what you get in the box. You get some instructions you're never gonna read, a catalog, a Google review card. Please use it, we appreciate it. And this big magnet. This is the 42-inch model. This is going to be good for most indoor-outdoor forklifts, as long as you're not driving through mud or whatever. You know, you're not off-roading your forklift. This will work fine for you. Hangs on the thing. Just make sure when you hook it up that your surface you're mounting to is clean and flat, and this is going to be a good sweeper for you. And yeah, better for low ferrous content metals. This is pretty good steel on this thing, and it sticks.